All right, that should be live now. It seems like we are broadcasting. Hello and welcome to the ninth installment of Unit Corner Club Live. The Entropy will be starting very soon, as well as broadcasting over on D Live as well. Joining me today is a surprise co-host at the last minute, Zen Chan, whom you all know already if you've been following this channel for a while. Hello, Zen. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing okay, a little sleepy, but that's standard for me, to be honest.
Thank you for joining me today. It has been a rough couple of weeks. As many of you know, I have been doing a lot of local activism, and that is very tiring and it goes nowhere. And it means something to someone, but I'm old. I have to take care of loved ones one who has a very aggressive cancer. So I don't think I'm going to be able to continue doing activism because with what little free time I have, I can either make content for my channel and host live streams, or I can do activism. I don't have the time to do both and make content about doing one as well as doing content that doesn't involve the other. So I'm going to have to make choices, and obviously I enjoy running a channel. I enjoy being a community coordinator for everyone who loves Western civilization. So unfortunately, I am going to have to pull back the stick on doing in the field activism a lot because I just can't do it. I have the stamina, but I just don't have the time and the assistance to do it. So that's been really weighing on me heavy lately. And that's one of the reasons you haven't seen much content on my channel the last couple of weeks. Secondly, my Discord and the connected Gmail address got nuked in the last 3 days. So unfortunately for everyone, the very awesome Discord server that I had is gone, just evaporated, and my Discord account got nuked. And the strange thing was, until yesterday, the Gmail account tied to that was unavailable. I didn't get a notification saying that it had violated anything, but it was like it didn't exist. It wasn't on my phone list because I had it with my Gmail cluster on my phone. It wasn't accessible for over 24 hours, and it wasn't until even yesterday that I could even log into it. So clearly, there are oppressive powers afoot that that are wanting to silence truth tellers on the internet. So unfortunately, Discord is probably not going to be a service that I use anymore. I'm going to look into other similar services. Zenchan, have you used any similar services?
Not really, I'm fairly normie. I think somebody sent me a link to something. Give me a second, I'll dig through my DMs. Someone
Well, if
sent
it's
me a link.
Gilded, I've already seen it.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a clone service, Gilded, as in the guild, like a guild on a video game.
Mm-hmm.
I typed it in the chat there. Hello, Artist Life. Hello, Danny. Hello, Robert and Jack and everyone else that's in the chat. Hello, and thank you for coming. Hello, Alabastard. And yes, I heard about SFO. Dev over at Short Fat Otaku got a community strike for a 3-year-old video about nonsense. So anyway, Hello, Sanders. Good to see you back again, friend. I know you took a break for a while. But anyway, this week, I just wanted to have a chill stream for a little while. We're not going to run very long today, probably only like an hour and a half. And Zen has to go in about an hour, so he'll be stepping out then. But I thought I would have an Ask Me Anything because a lot of content creators do that occasionally, and I think I really should. I have a lot of people that follow me regularly, a lot of people that want to hear what I have to say or maybe ask me things. And just to let you know, the Entropy chat should be up and running anytime here shortly. Sometimes it takes Entropy a moment to sync up, but go ahead and start putting those links in chat for me, Zen.
Yeah.
The usual ones that you do.
I'll have to go dig them up from our
DM.
Okay. Oh no, that was in our old DMs. Is that still
they're gone?
thing?
Okay, all right.
Potentially, if you still have them.
Oh no, I have it. I have it on a. I have everything for my community stream on a WordPad file. I'll just send them to you again.
That works.
So today is all about you, the viewers and fans, asking me questions. And I would greatly prefer if you would use the Entropy widget once it's up. Oh, good, it's up now. Okay, thank goodness. It finally decided to sync up and it's ready. There we go.
Yeah, I was keeping an eye on that.
Over on Entropy, on the left-hand side, there's a question widget. And you can put questions and comments over there. And I would greatly prefer if you take your time typing out what you want to ask me, and then put it in a one or a handful of comments over on the question widget. That way it won't scroll away and disappear in YouTube chat or over on DLive chat. Speaking of DLive, we have 2 live viewers over on DLive. Hello to the 2 of you. And let's see. All right, there we go. Jack says, forgive him if he doesn't use entropy. That's okay, Jack. If you are going to be limited by character count and by chat here in YouTube. But I'll go ahead. We'll start off the first thing. Jack already asked one thing here, and it is about Islam. Jack asks a lot of questions about Islam because I know that he is either from or connected to Islamic communities somewhere in the Western world. So we're going to start with what Jack has to say here. And before we do that, though, I do need to send that link or the stuff to.
No, I've got it. I dug into one of the other live stream chats. I've got them now.
Well, I've got the RTF open. If you want me to send them to you fresh,
that's okay.
If that's easier to copy paste,
it doesn't make a difference. I'll put them into a notepad now.
Okay, then we're going to go ahead and start with what Jack has to say. Jack says, do you think it's feasible for the Islamic culture to be torn down and replaced with either a Neo-Persian new culture foundation of civilization? Well, let me take that again. Do you think it's feasible for the Islamic culture, to be torn down and replaced with either a Neo-Persian / new cultural foundation of a civilization? My main concern is that those liberated from Islam will copy every single thing, good or bad, that Westerners do. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking here, but my answer is yes. I do think that it is possible for a people in an area to have a mass exodus rapidly from one type of culture to adapt to another. We've seen it happen before, and even in some ways, we've seen it happen in the West, such as the sexual revolution. Before the sexual revolution in the 60s, anything gay was the love that dare not speak its name. Pretty much everything was a very heavy conservative, what we would call now a conservative approach to relationships and sex, and being a sexually open man was only praised a little bit for, he was a young man who sowed a lot of oats in his youth. Like if you were, a gay go-go dancer that was on a strip pole, no, of course you couldn't talk about that. And of course it was, even more so for the sexuality of women. And we saw a very rapid onset cultural shift because of the sexual revolution. And of course, I believe that was directly to weaken us as a society. I don't view such a thing as an overall good. I view such a thing as an overall damage to our society. But then again, I do like the concept of individual liberty. I just think that those things have been weaponized against us. That's why we are where we are. So to end my answer to Jack's question, I think that if you are going to have a cultural movement, it is going to be unpredictable what fallout that's going to have. And if you break down the values a culture used to have, as we have seen happen in America, as we've seen happen in Britain, when you strip the core values of religion and tradition out of a people in rapid succession, then many things can jump in to fill that void, as we've seen happen, which is what is destroying the West and giving us our spiritual cancer right now. So yes, you are right that both good and bad can come in, but that doesn't mean that you're wrong to fight against the oppressions of an Islamic state. Zen, do you have anything to add to that?
I was just going to say that I understand from what I've heard is that a similar thing happened with either Christianity or just Catholicism. Was that they also went through some sort of like religious, a great big change to sort of like modernize themselves almost. I'm not entirely sure, but I've heard that mentioned when people have talked about like what should happen to Islam is that they sort of fixed themselves up and removed a lot of like problems they had. I'm not an expert. I don't know much about religion. So if you know of that.
I am not familiar enough with religious goings on to say. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Hello, Free Toaster. Welcome everyone. Oh, obviously we got about 20 viewers now. That's nice.
That's pretty good.
Welcome everybody. Today we're just doing a casual Ask Me Anything. I've had a hard couple of weeks. it's been rough taking care of family, especially one who's having a really bad go of a systemic cancer and chemotherapy. So it's been a lot of long nights and frustration with that. But today we are just going to be talking casually. Thankfully, I have a buddy here to fill the dead air. Our lovely friend Zen Chan, who is still of the civic nationalist camp in Britain. I have not completely convinced him to become of the ethnic variety yet, but perhaps one day we will. But like I said, anyone is welcome to contribute to white well-being, even if they don't want to jump in with both feet. And I do appreciate Zen. His heart is in the right place, and he does identify that demographic change is a problem in the West. So we can be friends in that. And also, hello, Sean. It is good to see you as well, my friend. We're going to check the entropy widget to see if anybody's gotten started over there. And no, I don't see anything over there just yet. And I'm going to refresh the donation tabs to see if anybody sent super chats. And no, I didn't think so. Okay, we still have no super chats yet. So I forgot to pop open one of them. Let's pop open the PayPal list. That's what I forgot. Okay, I'm going to pop that open to make sure I don't miss any there. Because I got a paid donation on PayPal a couple of weeks ago, and it was when I was live, and if I caught it, I would have said something about it. So if you are the person who sent me that $20, I appreciate that. Excuse me. Okay, I think it's up. Are you going to work? Okay, yeah, you're working. Okay, I've got it open now. Yeah. Okay, I've got all the things open and ready to go. So we have no new donations and no new questions in the question widget. So, hello, Vic Tommy said? I don't know how to say that last name. Do you, Zen?
What's that? Vic. Yeah, I suppose Tommy said or Thomas. Unless it's Thomas, and it's like.
Or maybe it's like French and it's Thomiste.
Perhaps. Cheese eating surrender monkeys.
All right.
Try to offload onto Britain all of their problems.
I'd like to give a shout out to friends over on DLive. Thank you for helping me grow my DLive. I'm up to 68 followers over there now. We got Sanders and Trad Dad over on DLive here. Hello, you guys. Thank you for coming. Trad Dad's talking about how there's thousands of Christians are in town for a National Prayer Day in D.C. He says it's nice. It's the one white positive day of the whole year in D.C.
Oh.
That's good. I'm glad you got to have some good Christian community and white positivity there where you are today, Trad Dad. So moving back to the chat over here, we have Free Toaster saying that he forgot to say it last time, but the last streams were running without a problem for me after the Dragons of Disapproval stream. And I'm assuming you're talking about without problem on DLive, because I know sometimes DLive has problems. Is that what you're talking about, Free Toaster?
I just want to say I quite liked that the Dragons stream. It was very nice.
I also really enjoyed it. I think that both Liz and Scrump are really fun to talk to. Liz and Scrump have really good radio voices, and they're nice to chat with and bounce back and forth with. Free Toaster says it was actually YouTube he was talking about.
There's a reason Scrump's been carrying Dev's channel, or was for quite a while.
No, Scrump, Dev is fun, but he doesn't have quite an elocucious, I guess you could say, fluid to his voice and diction like somebody like Scrump has.
I think they form like a near perfect duo, though, which is why I love the dumps. The dumps are very good.
Oh, okay. I agree. I think they have a really good back and forth, and I also like what's her name, Lilith Lovett, the little Asian trap. What's her name? Is it Lilith Lovett?
Is she Asian? I wasn't aware.
Yeah, she's from Hong Kong.
Oh yes, she is. I forgot about that. I just remember her as the one lady with the blocked nose.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how she sounds to me. She sounds like she's just got an eternal cold.
Hello, Bailey. Hello, Danny. Just to let everyone know, we are having an Ask Me Anything stream today, so I would prefer that you put your questions or comments over in Entropy, because those are easy for me to look at later. They're in their own little block over on the left called the question widget over there. And of course, like always, we'll be taking paid chats. It's always nice to get tips, but today I'll be communicating with you even if you don't pay me, because I want to just have an Ask Me Anything. And to respond to Bella Good says to use Telegram, that it is a good Discord alternative. And they are free speech absolutists. And I have been using Telegram for well over a year. Telegram is a fine service, but it is not a Discord alternative because Discord offers things that Telegram cannot, which is shared voice chat rooms, a server that has multiple broken up channels, and the ability to stream games and videos and stuff in private rooms as well as to channels. So Telegram is excellent, and I highly recommend everyone use it. I certainly use it. And of course, you can follow me over on Telegram. That's one of the links that I have, which I will be sharing right now in the chat. It's also, like all of my links, you can always find it in the descriptions of all of my videos. And to remind everyone, I also have a P.O. box now. So if you want to mail me physical things, send me letters, send me gifts or arts and crafts that you make, or just write me letters to ask me stuff privately that you don't want to be aired publicly, we can do that too. So you can find my P.O. box in the video descriptions as well now. So then, let's go and see what we have over on DLive, because I saw some more messages pop up over here. Sanders says that Gilded is the best alternative at the moment to Discord, and he is right about that. Gilded I've looked into, and I created a name over on Gilded and made a dummy server just to test it out, but I haven't got it spruced up or put any time into it. Gilded, however, does have the same TOS, it seems, that Discord has. So at any moment, they could just start nuking people for wrongthink, the same as Discord. It seems like everywhere you go these days, everyone has the same TOS. We're going to use vague language, and if we think what you say can be construed as hostile, dangerous, bullying, or questionably legal, we can just nuke you and everything here. It's like no one wants to protect speech anymore. It's ridiculous.
I was going to say I worry about Gilded's just future as a platform, because it literally looks like they've just taken Discord's source code and then just made another Discord that's a complete clone. I worry.
Yeah, that's why I say clone, because it literally feels like a clone of it.
I opened it and I got really confused, and I was like, wait, what? So I genuinely worry they might have some potential legal problems in the future if they get any level of size to them, simply because that might not be legal the way they've made Gilded. It does look like they may have just completely stolen Discord's design and all that. I don't know website design law or any of that stuff, but it looks like it's potentially could have problems in the future. So I felt like I thought I'd just throw that out. Like, it looks like it's too much of a clone that it might be in trouble in the future if it gets any size to it.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I don't know if there's going to be anything actionable legally. The only thing that I would worry about is if Discord really is going ham with just nuking thousands of accounts a week and terminating thousands of servers just because we share memes and stuff. I really worry that they are going to be of the let's take up the sword and try to destroy other services, sort of like YouTube and Patreon do. So we might even see legal action tertiarily, like trying to take down connected. I don't know how the logistics work for running a thing like that. But I know when you try to start a website, people can DDoS you. People can go for your web host. They can try to take you out in other ways. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Discord try to do that to Gilded. That would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Danny says, Yizz, I'm sending you some casheroony. I just saw that the P.O. box somewhere. I'll find it again. Yes, Danny. The P.O. box is in all of my video descriptions now. Not too far away from here is a nice little quaint city. Or no, it's not a city, it's a township called Fall Branch. And you can send it to a P.O. box there. That's where it is. It is in eastern Tennessee. And you can send it to Yizz the Eunuch, or I prefer to keep it sort of vague, YTE Media. That's what I've been encouraging people to send it to, YTE Media. So whatever name you put on it, I'm sure that it will at least find my P.O. box if you use the right zip code, city, and state, as well as the P.O. box number. So whatever you want to send, I will definitely take a look at. However, I do open everything carefully with gloves on in a safe place, because I have seen horror stories of people being mailed all kinds of funny prank jokes and stuff. So, so if you send me anything horrible, at least you know that I'm going to be wearing a mask and gloves when I open it.
Yes, wear your mask like a good citizen.
No, I meant like a blast mask, like a face
Ah,
shield, because
ah.
I've seen, well, because I like unboxing videos. They're just really fun. It's one of my guilty pleasures, and I have seen people be mailed stinky things or just boxes of dog poo, that kind of thing, just as jokes. So
Christ.
I,
See,
I always
the
I always
worst,
put on a I always drop my blast shield and put on gloves when I open mystery packages.
the worst I've seen so far was it's I don't really watch people who have that kind of thing happen to them. So the absolute worst is the kind of like the being sent a gigantic dildo in the PO box, and that's it,
Yeah,
which is
Dev,
always entertaining. I
did you
saw,
did
I
you see
saw.
it? Yeah, okay. Short fat otaku, that Canadian guy we like named Dev. Dev also gets a lot of physical gifts because he's got a pretty big fan base and people make him stuff and mail him things. Somebody spent a ton of money, and I think Bailey Gregg in the chat will know the Bad Dragon site. Bad Dragon make a lot of really high end premium monster and dragon dildos, like big horse dicks and dragon dicks and things. Somebody spent like I don't know how much money because high grade silicone costs a lot. They probably spent $200 or $300 on this thing, but
I was going to say,
they bought Dev this gigantic, like 3 foot long horse penis dildo. It's hilarious. And they mailed it to him and he opened it up and he's like, "What the hell is this?" It's ridiculous.
my
And
understanding from chat was that it was $250 or something to that
good
effect.
Lord, that is an expensive prank, but man, it was hilarious. Like
It was great.
I wouldn't spend that kind of money for a prank gift, but man, it was hilarious. And the chat was laughing about it for like 30 minutes. It was great. I told Dev, it's one of those ones that has a tube, and I
Yeah.
told him he should set it up as a coffee dispenser for his weekly sip, so he could just so he could pull it down from the ceiling like in Brazil. You know how the Terry Gilliam movie, and he could just pull it down from the ceiling and just fill his coffee mug up with it and then let it go back up on a spring or something. That'd be hilarious. But
I was
anyway,
saying,
enough about that filthy degeneracy. Let's move on to something better. All right, scrolling back up here. Sean Linkus, hello, Sean Linkus. Sean Linkus says, I'm looking at moving out of Illinois in the next few years. I both do and don't recommend Tennessee, but then I can say the same thing about pretty much everywhere in America right now. Eastern Tennessee, like a lot of places, is both great but threatening to become bad, like everywhere. Um, in this immediate area where I live in the boonies, it is rather safe and almost 100% white, almost 100% non-communist, and we have nearly I would say we have about as idealistic of America rural living as we can out here. But every time that I go into any of the nearby cities, we're already seeing Section 8 housing and block housing going up. I'm seeing more people in the streets. I'm seeing non-whites gathering in groups, even in smaller cities of only 50 to 100,000 people. So I don't know if that's just something that's happening in every city in America right now or in the last 10 years, but it's pretty much every city you go to. So it is nice in Tennessee. However, Tennessee does have an unfortunately high sales tax. It's almost 10%. So I don't care for that. And but local county taxes are really low, and it's cheap to buy property out here. So if you're looking for a nice place with people who love guns, who love our republic, who love freedom, and who love the Western way of life and aren't crazy about it, I recommend living somewhere rural. And if you want to move out to a place near where I am, we can talk privately about it. I don't talk specifically about my general area, but if you want to, hit me up an email or whatever, you can. And West Virginia is also really good out here, as well as most rural parts of Virginia and North Carolina are really nice too. Good salt of the earth people, and out here where I live, it might as well still be 1920 or 1930. Like people out here are really, I guess, old natured is the way to put it. Like we love nature, we love the country because the country allows us to live outside of the state, even though most people around here don't realize that pretty much ended 60 years ago. So it's lots of good people around here, even if they ain't the most educated or the most aware of what's going on. But the information age is changing that a lot. So I would say it's rural living here in East Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia is still about the best you can find in America in a lot of ways. I'm not saying there aren't other good places to live. Surely there are, but I can only speak to what I'm familiar with. So, all right,
how's
let's
Tennessee for
go ahead.
the coronavirus lockdown measures?
It's fine. Like some places, like we've been hit economically, like most places, but this state didn't go crazy with the lockdown stuff, and I've not been anywhere where I have seen actual mask enforcement, and I've never seen anybody getting grief over it. And I haven't read any local news about anybody being arrested or given a ticket or anything. So I don't think that my state did any lockdown stuff, because if they did, I probably would know it.
Yeah. I've been attempting to just go into places without the mask lately, and I'll be honest, it's stressful as all balls. I feel like I've got like eyes burning in the back of my head.
Well, don't give up, man. You keep doing it,
I'm
okay?
I'm trying, but at the same time, I'd really not like to get fined 200 quid suddenly.
Well, you can
You
also
know,
not pay it.
it's true. It's true. From
And,
what I
and
understand, it's
because I
not
bet you,
enforceable.
if they keep giving out those tickets and everybody just doesn't pay it, then they're eventually just going to give up and renege on it. Because I mean, how can you enforce something like that? It's ridiculous.
I mean,
Anyway,
fingers crossed.
we do have something from Sanders over on DLive. Sanders over there says, "I missed the first part of the stream, so you may have already mentioned it, but have you heard what's happening with Ron Paul?" And in fact, no, I haven't. I used to listen to Ron Paul very regularly, but his Daily Liberty stream is something that I stopped listening to regularly about a month ago. What's going on with Ron Paul, Sanders?
Ooh.
Why don't you tell us? Because I do not know. Does he have cancer? Is he dying? Or is it something else?
Oh dear.
I have no idea.
Apparently, he had a medical incident during a live stream recently and's been hospitalized.
Oh, well, I mean,
Well,
he's as old as the hills, so I mean, it's about time.
news channels say that he's lucid and he's optimistic, so it's nothing horrific. But
could have been just a minor stroke or an infarct or something he had to have fixed. Hopefully, he's going to be okay.
It sounds like it's nothing dreadful. From what I'm just browsing through about 10 different news sites all at once.
No worries.
It seems
Sean
like
Linkus brings up a good point about the quote unquote bluing of places. Now, America is bass-ackwards for some reason, and I used to remember that reason, but I don't anymore. Where most countries the left is red and the right is blue, but in America it's swapped for some reason.
I mentioned this recently.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why that is, but anyway, it might be because the parties kind of flip-flopped around the New Deal era. So I don't know. Maybe that's the reason. But regardless, Sean Linkus brings up a good point that it's really the cities that dominate voting demographics. And if you watch my videos and follow my content, which most of you here today probably do, you know how I've been talking about the demographic shift being in major metro areas, especially my little video short that I made using Sweden and California to demonstrate how purposeful demographic shift is very evident in major metropolitan areas. And we are definitely seeing that. And as more of these, I call them low information voters that have just traditionally voted left or voted Democrat, as they flee these terrible decaying cities that were destroyed because of leftism, they're going to move to new places and continue to vote left for the same stupid, vapid reasons. And unfortunately, we're seeing that happen in lots of cities across America. So I can't predict how the hell things are going to go in the future. I don't have the kind of time to crunch numbers and think on that. All I can do is just try to speak the wisdom I can of the things that I think mean the most to people, which is be educated, care about what's going on, care about liberties because there are people that want to take them away, and absolutely prepare yourself for the psychological war that's being waged against us right now as Westerners. So we're going to move on to something else now. Zen, do you have anything you want to ask me or talk about?
Oh, I was just going to say that low information voters are a cancer upon the world. Poor Scotland's been crippled by them. Well, I was going to say, like, do you have any plans for the upcoming sort of like couple months? Or do you just not really have anything happening? Do you have any videos planned, any big projects?
Well, that's the problem, like I talked about the other day. I don't know if it was on a morning walk or on a live stream, but I have so many scripts because what I'll do when I have an idea for a video, I'll either make a note on my phone or before bed, I'll type it up in a new WordPad file and I'll type out the basic ideas. And then sometimes when I have a few minutes, I'll pop open my laptop and I'll write out part of a script for a good video. I have like 17 or 18 videos fully scripted, and I have 3 or 4 ideas for a lengthy deep double analysis episode. It's just that stuff takes time to put together and then more time to edit. And I haven't had that kind of time lately. It sucks. Like I would love to be able to make content full time and excuse me, and host live streams and do more community events and stuff. But it's just rough because only one person in my immediate family has any type of regular work, and I lost my decent contract that I had. So I'm just doing odd jobs to make money, and on top of that, I have to take care of elderly, sick people. So it's been really rough lately, trying to do activism and stuff too. But there's only so much of me to go around, and only so many hours in a day, sadly. But as far as projects I want to work on that I want to put together, I definitely enjoyed the Dragons of Disapproval that we did last week. That was a lot of fun for me, and I loved it. I would like to do more of that. So I'm assuming, I know that you said you enjoyed it, but what about you guys listening today? There's like 30 of you now. Did you like the Dragons of Disapproval format? Did you think that was fun with the cute little picture and the punny name titles? Did you like that? Did you guys think that was fun? Let's see what the chat has to say.
Yeah.
That was very sweet of you, Bella, what you said, by the way. Thank you, Bella Good. I feel a storm brewing in the biospirit, and I would like to think that I'm going to be a part of whatever that brings.
The biospirit sounds like something from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I know, doesn't it? I love that term. Biospirit, let's talk about it, because I really like Jason's Go Free book. It has excellent words in it for how to think about ethnicity and race and nationality and stuff. Jason came up with an excellent word for the shared racial and ethnic expression of a people. He calls it the biospirit because it's part of your spirit, your mind, your emotions, but those traditions come from your biology and your genetics because of how different types of humans evolved in certain places. So, for example, the biospirit of Europeans creates Western civilization. The biospirit of Asian peoples have created Asian civilizations, Eastern civilization, that kind of thing. And biospirit is a fun term because it's sort of like using a metaphysical and religious term, but it's also sort of based in science and observable fact. So I really like the term biospirit. It's really cool. And so like people that use the Go Free lingo, like Bella and I, we really like that term biospirit. Speaking of the Go Free book, I definitely recommend you all check it out. It is a fantastic book that really changed the way that I look and think about certain things. I'm going to share the links here.
It seems everyone's very positive toward the Dragons of Disapproval.
Oh, good. That's wonderful. We'll get back to that in just a second after I link this here. Sorry, I went on a sidetrack. I saw the term biospirit and I got excited.
Well, since you're linking, I'll put my own links. My own links for you in the chat as well.
Thank you. All right, let's scroll back up and see what I missed. We'll handle chat a little bit there. I got distracted with Bella.
There was a few more ones from Jack.
Yeah, I'm going to say let's hop back to Jack, and then we'll move towards with people liking Dragons of Disapproval and talk about that. Jack says, "What is the recommended policy of the LGBT question? I would recommend leaving GBLs alone, but the T is where it becomes problematic because they refuse to agree how many genders there is." Well, here's the problem. When it comes to LGBT, it is not about gay people. It is not about people who are intersex. It's not about people who are trans. LGBT-ism is just one of the many isms of the anti-white, anti-Western cancer that we need to stop, because it's just another expression of whatever you want to call this neo-Marxist horseshit that wants to create an endless number of approved and disapproved groups, approved and disapproved language, and they use that as a vector to indoctrinate and manipulate young people, as well as put pressure on professional working class adults. So I don't like it at all. I think if you're going to have a society based on individual liberties and freedoms like us in the West, especially the Anglo-West, like to have, you have to stop all of these identitarian groups from forcing their way into legalities, whether it's race, whether it's sex, whether it's sexuality or gender or whatever the hell. You just have to put a kibosh on that and say, no, we can't have that, because that's going to start us down a never-ending spiral of an infinite number of identity boxes that's going to just create more and more avenues of attack for people that want to use those to sow malcontent and create discord in the people of your country. So we just need to put the kibosh on all of that. I think what anybody wants to do on their own time, in their own bedroom, or with their own lover is just fine, as long as you don't try to preach to others about it and convert others, especially at a young age, to a certain way, and as long as you don't try to shoehorn it into laws just to try to get your way. I think that kind of stuff is okay. So hopefully
Yeah.
that answered that question.
I
Go
was
ahead.
about to say, like,
Mhm.
I actually, I don't think the problem with, as he states with the T's, is that refusing to agree how many genders there's. I think that's just a random thing that they just witter on about that could be safely ignored. I'm just rather annoyed that they won't leave children alone, quite frankly.
That's also a problem. Like that's my problem with all the LGBTism. Like it's not just the trans stuff. I mean, if you look at school books in America and the UK, they're talking about gay sex in a lot of different counties already in America to
Yeah, that's
children as
weird.
young as first grade. Like that shit needs to stop. Like we can't be having that.
Like
Like that's ridiculous.
the worst I've seen was one that is like just a book where it basically just says James has two daddies and that's fine. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
that's okay. That's not terrible. But it's like again, it's the eternal problem of the left is once you give them an inch, they fucking go wild with it.
Full Moon Ancestry here says, Yizz does a great job explaining complicated and controversial subjects to the average person. Thank you, Full Moon Ancestry. That is one of the main things that I have tried to do in my last 15 years of speaking and philosophizing and caring about current events is I like to figure out what a topic is about and then learn how to talk about it in a simple way so people can quickly understand what's going on and add their 2 cents into it, or at least understand a complicated subject. That's wonderful. So now let's talk about dragons of disapproval. Oh, we have some things from Robert to get to over on the question widget. That's awesome.
Hey.
All right. See, we also have some more over on D Live, which we'll get to in a second. But when it comes to Dragons of Discord, I really enjoyed that, and I might give it a different name because that was just me filling in for Rose of Dawn's seal of approval. So Dragons of Discord is an alternate name that I thought might be fun. I'm kind of pissy at Discord, so I don't know if I'll do them the service of having the name Discord or not. But dragons are cool. There's lots of different dragon pictures. And if Rose of Dawn won't mind too bad, I could just ape her show completely and do a dragon show that's like her seal of approval show. Because they do say that flattery is the greatest, or that the imitation is the greatest form of flattery and all that. But I don't want her to think that I'm dick riding or anything. Pun included, or pun intended. So the thing that I put to the chat is, do you like the concept of using dragons, or do you want me to just create my own type of show where we have little games or topics to pick from, and we don't do any kind of dragon puns or dragon pictures or anything, and make it not about dragons? Or do you like dragons? Because I personally love dragons and it's cool. So let's see what the chat has to say about that. And we're going to go and read what's over on Entropy, and we will get back to that shortly. Robert Verlinden, or Verlieden, I don't know how to say it, but forgive me, Robert. Robert says, quote unquote, quote, I disagree that the powers that be are trying to replace the population. The goal is to create and strengthen different groups so there's no coherent population. I think that if you dilute your population with more than 5 to 10% of outsiders, your society starts to lose coherence and social trust will disappear. I agree, and that's what I mean when I say replace. Is they don't want. I don't think that the goal is to like completely supplant one population with another. That's not exactly what I mean when I say that. You're right. When I say we are being replaced, I mean the goal is to replace a lot of us to where we are shattered as a people in the West, and we no longer are the pushback to the New World Order that the globalist powers want. Because when you look at places that have a noticeable spike, like in my demographics video that I used, in Sweden, the 3 major metropolitan areas, they went from almost 0% non-European Muslim to almost 10% non-European Muslim in the span of one generation. And their society in those cities has gone to complete shit. No trust, crime through the roof, violence in the streets, no-go zones, and all this happened in one generation because a 10% demographic change. So I do think that Robert's correct. They don't have to completely replace all of us to destroy us. It's only a small percentage, and it has been going on now since in America since the Mass Migration Act of the 60s, and it's only been getting worse in major cities. And we don't need to go into that because probably half the people you follow already know that stuff and talk about that stuff all the time, so we don't need to get sidetracked by all that. But I did want to address those questions. So thank you very much, Robert. I do appreciate that, my friend. And now let's pop over to DLive because Sanders had something to share about LGBT stuff. He says, I usually find all the acronyms in LGBT have nothing in common. True, from my experience. That's what happens when you base a community around who you stick your junk into. Yeah, that's another thing that I don't like about LGBTism. It's not like you're saying, okay, everyone who believes this Bible or everyone who believes in this political document is going to get together and make a team or do activism. If you try to make a community based on some arbitrary trait, like, who's got green eyes or who just has white skin, that's a very difficult thing to get all of those people in that one camp to ever talk about or agree on anything to be actionable. That's another reason I don't like the LGBT cluster, is because you're taking a bunch of different traits of disparate people who don't have a connected community and who don't have similar ideas or ways of life and shoving them all together and saying, okay, this group of Marxist radicalized activists is going to speak for all of these disparate peoples of these random traits. It's just complete cancer and it's completely retarded. I don't care for it. So
yeah,
hopefully that responds enough to Sanders. Go ahead, Zen.
I was about to say, it's one of those things that just weirds me the hell out. It's like my younger sibling. It's like apparently she's part of like the LGBT group at her school, and
Uh-huh.
it's like, and I'm sure all the people in that group are lovely people. I'm not going to
I'm not
be
sure about
disparaging
that.
anyone. Well, I don't care. She seems fine and she seems happy, but it's like, well, why is this what connects you guys? I don't get it. It's weird. But
The chat says that dragons are cool, so it seems like that at least from the people who are speaking in chat, that we will be sticking with the dragons if I continue doing that kind of show. I'll talk to Rose and Scrump about it. I don't want them to think that I'm trying to steal their thunder or anything, but I am going to let them know that people really liked Dragons of Disapproval, and to not ape it so entirely, I'll probably change it to something else. It might not even have dragon in the title, but it probably will. And I'll see what they have to say about it, because the last thing I want to do is for there to be bad blood with other YouTubers that I like. So I'll definitely talk to them about that and see what they have to say. Because Scrump is pretty much her primary co-host, so I'd like to talk to both of them about it before I decide to move forward with that. But it was really fun, and I do look forward to doing more of those. That was a really fun day. You were there, weren't you, Zen? You were there for like half of that, weren't you?
I think so. I think I was there for the full
You were there
stream.
for the whole thing, right? Because it was on
For
a
the full
Wednesday, so
dragon.
you didn't have to go early, right?
Yeah.
Now you have to go in like 20 minutes. What's it you're doing today? Do you have a previous engagement? You going to work? What are you up to?
Harry and Gladive is doing an Among Us stream, so I'm gonna go and play that.
And Among Us, what's that? Is that a game?
It's a video games. It's kind of the new normie video game that's out, but it sounds fun. It's lots of like. Were you aware of Trouble in Terrorist Town from about like 7 years ago?
No, I don't know a lot about gaming. I'm sorry.
It's basically you and a bunch of people get put together, and you all like are just you're all just like random characters, but secretly a few of you are actually killers, and you've got to kill the others without being spotted.
Oh.
It's a very like it's one of those things where it's a very basic concept to build a game around, and it's very interesting.
Okay, I just checked Streamlabs and Cash App and PayPal. We don't have any donations over there, so let's check DLive again. And Sandra says Among Us is cool. All right.
Hey.
Someone in chat asks if I've ever heard of the Kalergi plan. And yes, I absolutely have. And I have 2 websites open about that right now that I would like to read about more. People send me stuff all the time about, what led us to where we are. And I do my best to try to read that kind of thing. And it's also tiresome because it's stuff that I sort of already know generally just from being aware for the last 20 years. And it's just depressing to read about that stuff. So I am aware of the Kalergi plan, but I've not read much about it yet. Let's move on. Hello, Sin of Pride. Good to see you again, friend. Sin of Pride, in case you didn't know, this is an Ask Me Anything episode. And if you would like, you can type out lengthy things to me that I will address over on the question widget in Entropy if you like. Or you can just type to me here in chat. But today we're just having a casual stream because I didn't have any special guests lined up, and I've had a really rough couple of weeks. So we're just sort of taking it easy, and I just wanted to talk to my chat today. Yes, Antburger. We actually talked about Ron Paul earlier today. Bless his heart. We were glad that he seems to be doing okay now. So that's good. All right. Let's see what Jack is very chatty today. He has a lot of things to say. Let's see what Jack has to say. Jack says, the Great Replacement reminds me of the garbage that came out of the European Union's ideological founder, or the United Nations Migration Compact. This is stuff that I actually touched on in my lengthy deep double analysis video that I made about a month ago called The Biden Plan and the New World Order. I talked specifically about this, the quote-unquote modernization of migration, which is basically fast-tracking the globo homo in Western civilization. Jack continues on to say, these international unelected bodies spell the doom for nation states as we know it, and that is their goal. Yes, of course that's their goal. That's what they want. Like, when you can even hear people like Guy Verhofstadt going on his tirade in his broken English about how the main thing standing in the way of the European Union's power is national sovereignty, and he demands that nation states give up their national sovereignty. And I'm like, dude, you sound like a Bond villain. You need to shut up and sit down. Like, that's crazy talk, man. Do you know who Guy Verhofstadt is, Zen?
I'm from the UK, and I voted Brexit. Of course, I know who
so
that
you know who
prick
Guy
is.
Verhofstadt is. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
the Emperor Palpatine in waiting, from what I understand.
Yes, definitely. He is absolutely. No, in my opinion, Palpatine would be Brussels. He's just a stooge. He's an upstart apprentice of the Sith Master.
Would that make him Dooku then? Is that more accurate?
Yes, that's a good way to put it. He's Count Dookie.
That's a shame. I love Christopher Lee. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert says, yeah, Guy Verhofstadt with his fleet of LPG tankers. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Goodness me. I mean, fingers crossed, Boris is destroying this entire country, but we might at least get Brexit done properly. It seems to be the one thing that's being done right at the moment. I remember what they were saying earlier, where they said, this is about a question you got earlier. I think it was the question widget. It's gone now, but they said about like they don't need a complete replace us. They just need 10% to like just sort of mess things up. And it's like, I thought that the major political parties were doing that just fine.
No, they already are. Like that's why a lot of times I get frustrated with people like Sargon and others like Tim Pool especially. They're stuck in this left-right paradigm where the asshats in power. The left-right paradigm doesn't matter. They persuade and own and purchase whoever on whatever side of political power structures they need. Like, the real problem are the global elite and international banking money and the multinational corporations that want national sovereignty to decay, and they want there to be no racial or ethnic pride or unity in the only race that stands against their power, which are white folks. Make no mistake, if the tables were turned and it was Asian folks standing in the way, it would be the anti-Asian narrative. But that ain't where we're at. We're at the anti-white narrative here in the West. So that people need to realize that it's not just, the right or the left are the real problem. No, that's not it at all. Like, look, the conservatives, the Tories have supermajority right now. Well, what have they done? Have they walked back any of the nonsense of the last 20 years? Have they changed anything tremendously? Have they dramatically altered immigration? Have they taken a bunch of this progressive horseshit out of school curriculum? No, they've done nothing, and they've proposed nothing to fix any of that. They're just leftists who push the brakes more often than the left does.
I was about to say, from what I understand, like a lot of people's arguments against right wings is that they don't try and push their own things; they just defend. They are always on the defense, which is an interesting argument.
It's pathetic, is what it is, and I can't stand it.
The one thing that gave me the respect, one of the biggest things that gave me the respect for people like Sargon and Dankula is when they joined UKIP, because they were genuinely trying, and then just UKIP just. If I start talking about UKIP, I won't stop.
Well, we better not then. We better not then.
Yeah.
Let's see what the chat has to say. Oh, we have a Saniko, or is it Saniko? I don't know how to pronounce Japanese syllable inflection, so I'm going to say Saniko. Hello, Saniko. We also have Sin of Pride chiming in here with, like G. Edward Griffin said, it's two wings of the same ugly collectivist bird. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Sin of Pride. That's very good. I like to call it two sides of the same globalist shekel, but that's just me.
Oh, that's tickled me there.
It doesn't matter which way you flip it; it goes in the same piggy bank.
Oh God. You're gonna give me a tummy ache with this, with these. That's great.
And just so everybody knows, when I say globalist, no, that is not a dog whistle for Jew. I know that a lot of the richest, most powerful globalists and a large percentage, if not the majority, of international banking money is Jewish. And I do know that the Zionists of Israel do control and contribute a lot to this globalist problem I'm talking about. But when I say globalist, it's not a dog whistle. It doesn't mean all Jews are bad. It means actual globalist threats to the Western way of life. And they can be of any color or creed as long as they are part of this ugly anti-Western, anti-white narrative that wants to break down national sovereignty and get rid of ethnicities and just homogenize us all until we're nothing but wage and debt slaves to multinational powers. That's who I'm talking about when I say globalist. I use globalist in the same way that Alex Jones does, if you listen to him at all.
Oh, I need to start listening to Alex Jones. I love the Joe Rogan episodes where he's on, because he just starts going mental.
Oh, he's great. He's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun.
I think my favorite thing is where he's like, oh, you see, they're trying to teach you to want abortions so that you will want an abortion at birth, and then they'll say, yeah, we'll take care of it, and then they'll take the baby away and they'll use it in a demonic ritual.
Now he loves hyperbole and he does speak that way. But when you boil it down, the things he says, they're usually true. Like,
oh yeah,
his twist and his spin on it are what makes what he says seem like radical untruths. But really, the core of pretty much everything he talks about is based in reality and is rather factual.
I'll never forget that there were actually chemicals being put in the water that did not only turn the frogs gay, but turned them trans.
No. That's the wrong terminology. Like, in layman's terms, it was turning the frogs gay, but what it was doing is it was altering them genetically to create hermaphroditism. Which in reptiles and amphibians, hermaphroditism means that the sexes of the species become blended to where each member has both male and female reproductive organs, and they can mate rapidly with any of the others. So
yeah,
that's what was actually happening. But like we talk about with the word anti-white, to make something catchy and to make something a meme, you got to use language that just clicks in people's heads and they know what you're talking about. That's why turning the frickin' frogs gay really caught on and became a meme.
But it's just amazing that people kept like they use that as the Alex Jones meme, and you go, he's right, by the way, that actually happened.
Yeah. Okay, let's turn it back to the chat here and see what we've got today. Over on D Live, we have Sandra saying that having Yizz on the Alex Jones show would be fun. That would be fun. I have emailed some of his handlers and people, but as usual, nothing usually comes back. And if they will get back to me, it will probably happen in the future. Let's check entropy. Okay, still nothing new on the entropy widget. What'd you say, Zen?
I love the term handlers. It just puts in the image of Alex Jones as this fucking like rabid dog they're just like.
No, anybody who's big and famous, you talk about their handlers because you can't just reach out directly to them. You reach out to you know what I'm talking about.
I still say that like I think if you really want to pop out there, one of the best options is going to be if you can manage to get a one-on-one with Sargon, because I'd be very interested to like, because that's the thing. It's like when you try to combat like my CivNat beliefs, I kind of have to throw my hands up and go, I don't research things, so I'm just mostly going off my feelings.
Here's the thing with Sargon.
Having someone like Sargon
I've known Carl since he was a nobody. I started following him a long time ago. And Carl and I share a lot of values when it comes to governance of the West and governance of Western kind. The problem is our governments have gotten out from underneath us. Where we disagree is that classic English liberalism and classic individualism can fix it. It cannot, because we've had 3 or 4 generations of that being turned into a weapon against our people. So that's where Carl and I disagree. That's why he is still on his meditated big brain English liberalism platform, and I have moved over to the staunch nationalist platform, because we aren't going to be able to fix the problems and win the psychological war with individualism and with his lofty ideas. That's not going to win, or it would have already won. So that would be the only thing we would argue about, because he speaks the same facts and the same truth I do. He believes in the same concepts for Western kind that I do. So we don't really disagree on a lot when it comes to idealistically how Anglos should live, or idealistically how Anglos should behave ethically. We seem to only disagree on what must be done to save ourselves. So that's really the only way that we disagree that I can see.
I get very angry with Sargon sometimes. Like I followed him for a while. He was very much my political awakening. Someone from my college linked me to him so I could just keep up to date with what was going on in the news with his This Week in Stupid. And this was like in the lead up to Brexit. So I followed him for like years, and basically the entire time was like, I agree with basically everything you say. And then he started getting very, very pro. See, I don't want to say pro-family because that makes me sound like a twat. Family absolutist is the best way to put it. Like, I swear there are points, and this is from like old live streams that I will never be able to find, and I hate to say I can't source this, but I can't, because he has made thousands of hours of content.
That's fine. Make your point.
I swear there was one point where he literally said that it was either MEPs or MPs are bad people with bad morals because they don't have children.
Well, and it's kind of, but he makes a valid point though. Like, people who are state leaders and represent us in government, represent us in the European Parliament. A disturbing portion of our current day politicians and our representatives do not have families and are not connected to the nations they represent. And that's a problem, because they are ethically flexible and can be bought, which is my primary problem with how all of this globalist horseshit works. Is the people get into power because of money and nepotism, and because of sociopathic tendencies and wanting to have power and influence and wanting to make a career out of it. And then all of these fuckers, they're not connected to religion and spirituality and family and nation and ethnicity and race and tradition. They're not connected to any of that, so they can be bought and influenced easily by globalist money and globalist praise. And that's the whole problem. So he brings up a good point about that. But I don't want to make this show about Sargon. No. I will read something funny about Sargon, however. Scott Johnson says Sargon is a bell end who thinks he's way smarter than he really is.
And Robert Verlinden immediately follows up with, and he's still simping for Farage, while that snake was the first to disavow him when he was running for office. I know,
right?
I can't look at Farage anymore without just burning up inside, because I remember the things he said about UKIP the second he left.
I know. All right, let me scan chat here and make sure I didn't miss anything.
Sargon just go live, the prick.
Oh, it's okay. He goes live on Fridays a lot. I don't mind. We don't have much overlap in audience.
It's just that I always miss him. That's all. I like watching his streams, but I always.
You're not missing anything. His streams are boring. His streams. It's just him waffling about the same things he's been talking about for 10 years. Who cares?
No. But it's nice background noise. That's what I mean.
Wait, it is. He has a beautiful English man voice. He's
talking with Destiny. Oh God. Oh, actually, that might be hilarious. Oh.
Okay, so I don't need you tanking my stream. So shut up.
No. I'll be checking that VOD out. Actually, it is 8 o'clock though, so I need to get going. It's been lovely being on.
Where are you going exactly? You said you're on a stream.
It's Harian Gladiv. It's a weird name.
Let me pull it up and link it so we can go over there.
He's on YouTube.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I like Harry, and we talk on Twitter.
Oh, there you go then.
Yeah, I like Harry a lot.
He's got similar viewer size to you, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, they've already stopped.
Gladiv. There he is. I knew. Well, no shit. Where is he?
I'll link it in the chat.
Thank you. I couldn't find him because I can't remember how to spell his name.
I know. He's one of those people that's very, very hard to find because he just can't spell his bloody name.
Hello, Nancy. And no, I have not checked my PO box this week. I've been really busy and I haven't checked my P.O. box since last week. But I will, of course, let you know on the next stream when I check and get your card. I will definitely be letting you know. Just like Jason does on his Sunday shows, I will be addressing and saying thank you and sharing anything about the gifts that people share with me, because it means a lot to me when people take time out of their life to write me a letter or create little arts and crafts for me. I have a video coming up where a lovely lady by the name of Fraulein Dresden drove up to visit with me on her way north. She took a long vacation where she drives up and down the eastern seaboard. And we had a very lovely day together. And this was last Friday, I think. Last Friday? I forgot. No, it was this Monday. That's when it was. Just this past Monday, we had an excellent time going around talking to people, going out to eat together, and we took a lot of fun video together of us doing fun stuff. That will be an upcoming video when I finally get all of that edited together. So I really love feedback from people, and yes, I agree, Nancy. Fraulein was she's an adorable treat. We had a great time together. So
But I'd best get going.
Okay, yeah, let's get moving here. Go ahead.
I've just sent you a DM on Twitter. So if you need to get in touch with me in the future, if Discord renukes you,
good. I was going to ask if you had Twitter. I'll go ahead and
yes.
add you. Everyone, say goodbye to Zen. Thank you for coming by, Zen. And I'll be hopping over to visit you on Harrian's channel shortly.
All right, ta-ra, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Okay, and there he goes. Mr. Zen has left the building. I'm going to do a roundup and check the other things before we get out of here. Let's see. We have nothing new over on PayPal or Cash App. We have nothing new on Streamlabs either. And nothing in the question widget. So finally, we are going to check over on DLive. We do have some things over on DLive. Spear of Sagittarius, I'm pretty sure that we already answered what happened to Ron Paul. He had some minor problem, but he seems to be okay and stable. And Sanders says some stuff about Sargon that I don't want to repeat, but he does remind me to open the treasure chest. So I'm going to go ahead and open the treasure chest for people over on DLive. So you've got a couple of minutes to go hop in on DLive and make sure you get in on the treasure chest opening over there. And let's see, before we get out of here today, I want to check chat again. If you have anything to ask me, go ahead and get it in here before we wrap up. Jack Blade says he thinks we need to mimic the social policies of Japan and Poland. I think that's not a bad idea. I do like the way that Poland and Japan seem to care more about their people with policy than the West does. I do like that. And, oh, hello, Orel. Good to see you here. And before we wrap up, let's see. Is there, okay, people just saying bye. Scott Johnson says Destiny trying to rebrand himself as a centrist. Yeah, good luck with that. Let's see. Poland does not care more. Orel, you don't think Poland cares about its people? Okay, I've heard a lot of people that are Polish say that it is nice to live there because Poland cares more about its people than other European countries. But if that's incorrect, then I mean, I'm not Polish. I don't know. I just know what people say. So. Japan seems to care a lot about its people. I know that from the people that I know who love Japan and have told me about Japan. And wow, 300,000 Islamic immigrants from Asia in the last 3 years? Good Lord. That's a lot for a small country like Poland. Oh my God. Wow. That's suicidal levels of immigration. Holy shit. That's a lot. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe Poland doesn't give a crap about its people then. I was just going by what I've been told. Regardless, we are coming up on the end of today's stream. I only wanted to do a short stream today to answer questions that you guys might have been wanting to ask me for a while. I appreciate your donations. I appreciate the gifts and the letters that you guys mail me. I love them. They make me very happy. And I see Holly9 just joined us over on DLive. Thank you very much. Before we get out of here, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the rewards. So I clicked the treasure chest button. It will be opening shortly. Be sure to click on that. Okay. And I don't think you're a weeb for simping for Japan. There's more to Japan than weebery. I mean, Japan has a really long traditional history of all kinds of things. And I don't know. I don't know enough about Japan to have my own definitive opinion. But from the people that I talk to who love Japan, they say it's still fairly Japanese and has resisted outside change for the last little while. But anyway, I don't know. Well, regardless, unless there's anything else that chat's going to say, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up and get out of here. So I thought it was Claptrap too, Holly9. When I saw it, I said, wow, that really looks like Claptrap from Borderlands. Because it really does look like him, doesn't it? Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to move over and visit the stream that Zen Chan is on over on Harrian's channel. Alabaster, thank you for that. I hope that you all have a lovely weekend. I'm going to be doing stuff with my family all weekend, so I love all of you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the community, and definitely look forward to another community stream where we talk like this again in the near future. I'll do my best to do at least one of these every month where I advertise ahead of time, and you guys can have a fun hour or two with me where we share ideas and you ask me questions about things. So we're going to go ahead and close it up and get out of here for today. Again, as always, speak the truth and don't be afraid, because fear is the mind killer. Fear is what they use against us and weaponize against us. So keep heart, everyone, and speak the truth. And until next time.